evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing great. I'm happy we're here. We don't need to share my screen quite yet. We'll share in a second. I am Mark Sebastian. I am the founder and CEO of OptionPit.com. We've been around for now over 15 years. It was our 15th anniversary back in April. I'd like to welcome you here to our special event. Please let me know where you're coming in from. I'll tell you, I'm sure you can tell by my accent that I live in Texas. No, I'm born and raised in Chicago, but I live in Austin, Texas now. And it's good to see. Where are you guys coming from? Brett's in Baltimore. SW's in Chicago. Phil's in St. Louis. Sorry, I was at the Cubs Cardinals game when the Cubs beat them 11-0. That was pretty nice. We've got JP Jennings coming from Queensland, Australia. Welcome. We've got Eric from the Big D coming in from Detroit. And Hannah's coming in from Denver. Gino's coming in from Green Bay. I have told everybody I intend to be a Green Bay Packer shareholder so I can vote down every good idea they have. We've got LaPorte, Texas. Jose's in Denver. We've got Connecticut. We have people from all over the globe. I'm really happy to be here. And that makes sense. Option Pit has clients on traders on every single continent in the world. Now, I even count Australia because one of our traders was involved in science and actually lived in Antarctica for about a year. So there you go, guys. We are a worldwide company, and I'm really happy you're here. Now, we're going to be covering some really important information here in just a second. But I want to tell you about what is at the bones of Option Pit. The bones of Option Pit are you guys and something we call CRT. Now, CRT stands for consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. So let's walk through each of those letters. C, consistently profitable. We test every strategy live trading before it ever sees the light of day. All of them have to be consistently profitable. If they're not, they never see you. Repeatable. It's one thing to do a trade once every quarter, right? That's not really repeatable. We want our trading systems to be consistently profitable and also something that we can trade regularly. We want to be able to trade once every week, once every 2 weeks, somewhere along those lines. And then most importantly, teachable. And one thing to know about traders is we all are traders first and teachers second. Andrew, who works here at Option Pit, you saw him in that wonderful intro. He wrote the program that taught me how to trade. I personally, on the floor, taught probably 50 people how to become professional traders on the floor, and then took that knowledge here to Option Pit to start this company. So our goal is not just to spoon feed you profitable trades. Hey, if that's what you want, great, you're going to get it. But our goal is to make you into a trader. We want you to learn not just what we're doing, but why and how, so that you can apply it to all of your trading. So remember that CRT, consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. That is what we are founded on. Now, for those of you that are here, how many of you got Hans's report on the 5 stocks not to own? Because if you have not read it yet, go after this presentation, make sure you read it. It's in your email box. You received it. It is going to save you a lot of headaches. So let's talk about a couple of the companies that Hans says, and I agree, aren't a good hold. The first is Salesforce, CRM. Now you're saying CRM, you know, human resources, customer tracking. Why wouldn't I need CRM? AI is going to be able to repeat what CRM does in a very short period of time. So if I'm an owner of CRM, I'm treading extremely lightly on that. Another name that he says might have some problems is Adobe. Now, are we going to need Acrobat to sign legal forms? Sure. But think about Adobe and what it does for artists and how it's used in marketing materials and by graphic designers. How much of that is going to be going to AI? Adobe has some problems here, folks. So if you have not read Hans's report, don't read it now. You've got time. But go in your email box and get in and start reading because it will help you avoid some tears. And that's what we're all about, is helping you avoid tears. Now, I'm going to bring Hans in here in just a second, but I'm very excited to talk about this tonight. And tonight is going to be all about how to catch the next wave in AI. So what I want to invite you to do, right? There's nothing worth watching on TV unless you're a huge NBA Summer League fan. So click that TV off. And social media is great, but take an hour off from doom scrolling. Turn off YouTube, click the X on Facebook, close Instagram, close X, close TikTok, get a pen and paper out, or if you want, you can open a Word or a Google Doc to take notes, because I promise you, you're going to want to. Because not only are you going to learn a ton about what's coming your way, Hans is going to reveal 5 stocks that he believes are going to be huge winners over the next several years. And I'll tell you, I agree with him. So let me get my presentation open and let's dig in. Justin, you can share my screen now. All right. Today, we're talking about the AI Breakout with me, Mark Sebastian, and momentarily, I'll bring Hans in. His goal, my goal, is for you to learn to turbocharge your retirement account and your trading account. But before we begin, I have to say the materials you're about to see are for educational purposes only. They are not to be meant as investment, legal, or tax advice of any kind. So if you see something and you take action on it, you do so at your own risk. All right, let's talk AI. Now, one of the comparisons I hear about AI is that it's just like the internet boom of the 90s and early 2000s. And I'm here to tell you that analogy is wrong. Yeah, there are a few similarities, but in actuality, this is an entirely different scenario with even greater upside. I've been trading for nearly 25 years, and I have never seen this kind of opportunity. So let's talk about how money has been invested in the internet versus AI. From 1990 to the year 2000, about $800 billion was put into internet companies. Now, some of this was good investments, things like Amazon and Google, and some of this was absolute malarkey. I mean, we were putting massive valuations on a sock puppet, on things like toys.com. And we saw what happened to a lot of those companies that weren't real. They went away. From 2000 to 2023, another $2 trillion has been invested into the internet. That is a ton of money. However, let's look at what's been put into AI in just 4 years. It's already been over $1 trillion invested into AI. By 2040, a mere 14 and a half years from now, people are projecting 20 to 40 trillion dollars of investment into AI. So think about that. We're $1 trillion in, and they're looking for another 30 odd billion dollars. Trillion dollars to go into AI. And more importantly, let's think about who is investing in these companies. AI is not being invested in by a sock puppet. AI is being invested by the US government. There's billions of dollars earmarked for AI in the new big, beautiful bill. BlackRock, in partnership with Microsoft and NVIDIA, is investing in over $100 billion in an AI partnership. Amazon on its own, spending $105 billion. Google, $75 billion. Meta, another $65 billion. What do you notice about these names? These were the winners, the big winners that came out of the internet boom. These are the companies that are the most valuable companies in the world. These are companies that have a track record of winning over and over and over again. They are pouring money into AI, and these are not firms that are stupid. These are not firms that make mistakes. These are firms that know how to make money. Again, I've never seen anything like this in my 25 years of trading. When I've talked to Andrew, who's got nearly 40, same thing. And there's more to this. Let's talk about the growth we're seeing in AI. In 2022, 19% of US IPOs were AI related. The next year, that increased to 33%. 2024, they're estimating somewhere between 40 and 50%. New companies backed by these behemoths like Facebook and Amazon and Google and NVIDIA and Apple are coming to market. This is not a boom and bust. This is a trend that is here to stay. Now, when we get to these 5 stocks that Hans picks out, if you go out and buy them, you're going to make some money, 10, 15, 20%. And that is wonderful. However, I'm not here to make 20%. I'm here to make 200%. I'm here to make 300%, 500%. And this is a trend that is about to explode in a way, as I stated, I've never seen. So, with that in mind, let's talk about Hans that I'm about to introduce you to. Hans is an option expert. He was a market maker on the Toronto Stock Exchange and the Montreal Options Exchange. He has directly managed $1 billion in option-based assets and delivered $750 million in options cash flow for investors. He lives in Toronto. He has 3 kids. And guess, like all people from Toronto, he loves Tim Hortons, and he gets saddened by the Maple Leafs every time the playoffs come around. So what's cool about him and why he's here to talk is that he ran a suite of big data funds specializing in AI, technology, and robotics from 2017 all the way to 2022. So now that I've told you a little bit about Hans, let's bring him in and let's talk to the man himself. Hans, it's great to see you. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Great to see you too, Mark. Thanks so much. You had to ruin the mood with the Leafs, but hello, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. So let's dig into what we're going to talk about. Hans is going to reveal the one chart that is telling him a breakout is coming. He's going to give you the key indicator that tells Hans when to get in, tells him to stay, to hold. One problem investors have, traders have, is knowing when to exit. And Hans is going to reveal when he knows to exit as well. Why his turbo trades have increased from 30% of his trading to 60% of his trading. He's going to give you the 5 stocks he believes will have huge gains because of the AI revolution. And he's going to show you how to produce even more massive gains than buying those stocks through turbo trades. So let's dig in. So Hans, you mentioned that one chart. Tell me about the one chart that you are watching.
Well, look, Mark, this is an exciting time. First of all, this chart that I'm going to show you, this indicator, has been on my screen for months now. It's really, really exciting because I'm excited about this whole phase. I get kind of giddy when I talk about AI. And a lot of people are talking about AI, but they're not thinking about its true impact in the right way. So I'm just going to add to what you said. And I'm going to say a lot of people are stuck in the past, believe it or not, 2023 to 2025. They don't think it gets any better than a fancy chat bot and chat GPT, which is pretty close. Nothing could be further from the truth, right? This is the inference phase. This is the phase where we bring usefulness from AI into all aspects of our lives and of society. So this isn't about watching innovation and going, wow, NVIDIA is making a lot of money and the stock keeps doubling every 3 months. This is about something that is a need to have, just like running water. AI is a need to have. In fact, the UAE said they're giving AI to all its citizens. That is very, very smart. You want your people to be smarter because that is what this stuff is going to do. It's going to make everyone more productive and smarter. And for us as traders, we are going to have boatloads of opportunity. And that chart you're talking about is going to be one of the keys to that. So simply put, this is going to be a generational opportunity. So Mark has gone on about how incredible it is, and 100% I agree with him. I haven't felt this excited about something in probably like 20 years. And this is my first rodeo, 99, 88, 99, 2000, 2001. It was fun. So one of the things, to your question, Mark, let me show you something that I watch like a hawk, and it is this. It is this chart. It's called my breakout ratio. And it's my secret weapon for tracking AI sentiment in real time. Sentiment, right? Sentiment, volatility. You guys hear us talk about that a lot. The way people feel is absolutely crucial to your trading. You've got to get a read on how people feel about things. That is step number 1. And this shows you exactly what I want to see from a pulse check standpoint on where the real action is, where the excitement is in the AI world. And it's made up of 2 groups of stocks. And it shows how they do this little dance together over time. And it's a very interesting dance, particularly, and your timing is fantastic being here tonight, particularly because of what I'm seeing out there. So number one group is the disruptors. These are the fast, riskier, high upside names, the Teslas, the Palantirs, the coins. They're bold, they move fast, they are going to change the world in their own ways. They represent the future, these explosive parts of what we're talking about in this phase. Number 2, the core giants. These are the names you all know and love, the Microsofts, the NVIDIAs, the Googles. When they move, it's a little bit less frothy, it's less aggressive, it's a bit more dependable, right? So, Mark, let's dig into this ratio and take a good look here. When this chart is rising, the breakout ratio is rising. That is something to take note of, right? It's showing you that something exciting is happening. The risk on crowd is coming alive, right? They're waking up. It's showing you that investors are shifting into these sort of AI fueled disruptors. Very, very exciting. The ones that are building and powering that next wave of things that some of which we can't even imagine. So this is that explosive potential. Now, when it falls, you see this chart going down. That means that money is playing it safe, playing a bit safe, moving back into those balance sheet heroes, the Microsofts, all these boring big tech names that do their own exciting things in their own right. But Mark, right
Yes.
now, what is it doing?
It's going up.
It's going up. It's rising. It's rising fast. You can see we've had a little bit of movement. In fact, this looks like a reverse head and shoulders, doesn't it? For you, those of you technicians out there. And that is a very positive pattern as well. And that is why we're here tonight. This is it's not theory. This is happening. This is giving you a picture. A picture tells you 1,000 words, right? And I believe this picture, it is happening. The shift is happening. The excitement is happening. The rotation is happening, which is telling you that people are moving into that more excited phase. And I think that coincides with the reality of this moment that we just talked about from inference. And what you see on the upper right side of this chart is that we are hitting a critical zone. And there's a number associated with that, isn't there, Mark?
Yes. So just to kind of break this down, just so I understand, the breakout ratio has kind of a normal level. It has kind of levels where your core tech stocks have kind of taken over. And then there are levels where the innovators, the newer tech stocks, the ones that are really at the forefront of artificial intelligence, are leading the market. And right now, you're telling me that the innovators, the newer AI names, are exploding at a rate much faster than the core tech stocks, even your Apples and Googles and Amazon. Your Palantirs and Coins and Teslas are pushing things at a much faster rate than some of the old line major tech firms.
Exactly. That is a sign that something is amiss. And it's
Okay,
a
so
very important sign because it shows, I mean, there's the whole debate. Does the market lead reality? Does reality lead the market? I believe in my time, over having done this for decades, I believe that this kind of indicator starts to indicate an element of very real reality, something that is going on out there. We talked about AI inference. We talked about how it's going to change the world. This is about to do something pretty spectacular that we're going to show you potentially in a second here.
and you've said your ceiling, the level that we have bounced off recently, is a number, a breakout ratio of 29. But you believe that it is absolutely going to explode higher. And I know we're going to get into this a little bit more, and that this is going to create incredible profit opportunities for traders. But my question is, how do you know that this is that when we break that 29 level, when the breakout ratio absolutely explodes higher, how do you know that that is going to be such an incredible opportunity?
Well, because we've seen it before, Mark. And this is urgent. This is happening. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. I assure you, it is a question of when. Look at this chart. This is going back 5 years. We can see the last time the market got hooked on this idea that innovation was going to come in and completely change our lives for the better, which it did during the pandemic, right? Thank goodness we had all these technologies to help us work from home, to help us have things delivered, et cetera, et cetera. That was the last time. We can see that we bounced our heads off of that line a number of times, but once we broke through there, it was horse out of the barn, charging ahead. And we started to see some spectacular moves. I remember that moment. I lived through a bunch of these things over time, and it gets people. Nobody can believe what's happening out there. We had huge big cap tech companies like Amazon going from 82 to 177. Peloton, of course, we remember everybody had to go stay at home and ride that stupid bicycle all day long to stay fit. Now they're nice coat hangers in their basements. That stock went from 19 to 171. We who can forget Zoom, which is still part of our lives, going from $75 to almost $600. This was a spectacular explosion to the upside.
So we know AI is here to stay, and it's pushing your against your breakout ratio higher. And that breakout ratio is telling you that innovators, leaders in the market are being loved right now, and they're running higher. And this is very similar to what you saw leading into the absolute explosion that was 2020. But here's my question: how do I maximize my gains from this trend?
Well, that is the easy part. You need something to help you out with that. And I'm going to tell you about something. What if I told you about an indicator, Mark, that is going to tell you when to get in? Because we are going to play this to the upside in the most efficient and explosive way possible. You can buy all these stocks. We're going to talk about these stocks later on. You can go buy them. You can make your 15%. You can make your 20%. If you want to make 100%, 200%, we just closed a turbo trade yesterday, literally yesterday, 148% it was 45, 48%, 148%. This is how we are going to take advantage of this almost once every 10 to 20 year environment that is going to be a trader's dream, but you need to be doing it the right way. And we take advantage of things in the proper way, looking at option pricing, looking at risk, and appreciating the full potential of that upside.
And the key to getting in and staying in and getting out at the right time is your market temperature indicator. Can you tell me a little bit about the market temperature indicator?
Okay, that's something that I've developed over a very long time. And it tells me when to get in. It tells me when to sit on my hands. That's a very, very powerful position, by the way. It tells me when to get excited again. That's what the MTI does. It keeps me in a trade. It keeps me committed. It keeps me confident. And these are all the things that really address the problems that you talked about earlier. A lot of problems of how do you get into a trade? When's the best time to get into a trade? One of the big things people don't do that well is staying in a good trade. Let that trade do the work for you. And then, of course, getting out. So the MTI really helps to keep me in those trades. I don't get 148% trades without having an indicator that gives me the confidence to stay the course.
And your indicator is really simple and easy, believe it or not. Now, what's behind it took years of work, but what the output is really easy, right? Red means not time to get in yet. Yellow means get ready, maybe dip your toe in the water. But when it goes green, that is you saying, it's time to jump in, both hands in, buy as much as I can, and ride it until it stops being green. Is that the right way to put it?
Exactly. It is going to give you a temperature for each kind of market that you're in. And we're going to go over a couple of examples right now. Red, things are cooling. Momentum is fading. Sellers have control, perhaps. Volatility is rising. Guess what? The MTI incorporates volatility into it. But when I see those reds turn to yellow, to green, etc., that is where we get a little bit excited here. So you can see we have red in the sort of middle to left. We start to get to those slight yellows in there. We get a bit of a stronger yellow, a 3 yellow, a 2 yellow. Then we move up to a 3, and then a 4 green, and then a 5 green, which is your full speed ahead. This is almost like, you remember if you watch Formula One, the engines start revving. They're off at red. They start revving at yellow. We're getting excited. The start is coming potentially. And then boom, you get those greens, and then those cars take off. And that is what we are looking for when we do these turbo trades.
All right. And so this is an MTI actually on a stock that you traded yourself, and it's Apple. So let's actually look at this with the stock price with MTI. Tell me
There you
about
go.
what you see here.
There you go, Mark. You see it. It drops. It goes yellow, caution, red. Don't do anything. Sit on those hands. Then we start to get a little bit of movement. We start to get an improvement in sentiment. We get that yellow. We move up towards those greens, and then we get the four greens, five greens, and four greens, and then we go five green, and it's full speed ahead.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. Look at the way this thing is just the apple is just kind of sitting there, kind of meandering a little bit, and then you get your green and it takes off. And now out of this, you made 193%.
There, yep. The look, these are fantastic trades when the moment is right. And the environment that we are describing for folks tonight could be absolutely saturated with these kinds of opportunities. That is what's so exciting about it. It'll be crazy stocks. It'll be stocks you've heard of. It'll be stocks you haven't heard of, but it will be everywhere.
Yeah, now there are a lot of people that own Apple, and if you were a part of this move, Apple rallied $30. It was trading about a little over 200 at a time. That's a good 15% gain. But because of your turbo trade system, which incorporates MTI, instead of 15%, you made 193%. Let's take a look at another example, if you don't mind.
Yeah, here's
Here's
another one. Good old Tesla, right? Good old Tesla. The MTI goes green. You get in, you ride out a massive $240 move. What was it, about 240 bucks, 230 bucks? Again, if you bought the stock, you did okay. Nothing to be ashamed of. But we did fantastically well in our turbo trade.
yeah, I mean, Tesla did rally almost 100%, call it 80%, which sounds incredible until you see Hans's turbo trade using MTI that makes a cool 244%, 3 times more than just owning the stock.
And one of the cool things, Mark, is that you can use this on any of your stocks. You can put it on basically anything, stocks, ETFs. It is fantastically versatile, which is really, really fun.
All right, so now we've heard about the MTI and the power, right? MTI, when it's red, you sit on your hands. When it's yellow, you're getting ready, maybe dipping your toe in the water, and when it's green, you're ready to go. We've heard about the breakout ratio, which is telling you when these innovators are taking over the market. How do we put these two together?
Well, and that's exciting. So when you can, in any trading, when you can start to layer your edge, right? Edge can come from, there's a lineup around the block for the new iPhone. It can come from charts. It can come from fundamentals. We are looking at two forms of edge that are being put together here to create one of the strongest setups you can find. So this is our move above the 29 to the 30 to 31. We start seeing those numbers along with an MTI that is turning full green and happy. That is a very, very powerful indicator that is going to really indicate to me, if it stays up here a little while longer, which um, it is going to be a very, very powerful indication that we are heading into that longer term chart, a whole bunch of air right above this particular area.
Now, for those of you that have heard Hans use the word edge, I want to put that in perspective. Edge is a trader term that we learned on the floor, and it is just our way of saying it's a trade that is in our favor, that has a positive expectancy when we do it. It's a trade that where we feel like we're the house in Las Vegas and not the gambler. So let's take a look at kind of how momentum is building. I'm noticing again, your breakout ratio is staying high. Now it's bounced off that 29 level a couple of times, but now it's bounced once, came back, didn't really sell down very much, and is now starting to get over. And that is coinciding with your MTI down here showing a lot of green.
Mark, I'm going to mention one other thing. Notice the first little run to that line, that important 29 level. You didn't get all the greens, did you? It wasn't,
No.
you weren't ready. It was not ready. It is not getting you in too early when everyone else is jumping and getting into trouble, this thing is waiting for the true momentum to give you that indication that it's time to get in.
Now, you and I have both said, I've said that this is like nothing I've ever seen in 25 years. You mentioned that this is likely a once in a decade profit opportunity. So, my question is, what are you going to do? And what can the rest of us do to make this once in a decade kind of money?
Well, the solution is my turbo trade. It's my very favorite setup that I've been using for decades. It's a very unique setup that is created to really take advantage of that upside potential explosiveness that you have in markets, that you have in stocks. So the turbo trade is made up of two parts. You've got an option trade on that downside that is your base hit, that is your income trade. Then you're going to use that to basically finance that upside trade, that explosive piece of the puzzle that is going to give you those potential 100, 145, 148. I had yesterday 200%, 300%. We've had some really big ones. That is a two-piece structure that I found works incredibly well for these sorts of explosive setups.
Okay, so the turbo trades is your way of getting into explosive upside potential. So walk us through again how you use the MTI to create the turbo trade.
So the MTI is going to give you that indication, not right away, and you listen to it. If it's still yellow, if the chart looks good, it's giving you yellows, you hold off. It's as simple as that. Once it starts giving you all those greens, and you start getting some other indications, for example, our ratio, we are going to build this structure. And we've been doing very well in these. And I anticipate that we're going to do very more. I think you might have a little bit of data on that, Mark. We are
Yeah.
going to start building these structures, these upside explosive structures, in a number of names that I am focusing on. I am keeping very close track. And we're going to tell you about some of them tonight, of those names that have this explosive potential.
All right, so let me just kind of wrap this up. The breakout ratio is breaking 29, and you believe, and I believe you, that we're in a COVID like kind of getting ready to explode higher like a cannon. The MTI is showing lots of green, and that sets you up for a turbo trade. And your turbo trade is two parts. You go for a base hit to get a man on board, bring in some income. Then you use that income for a second trade, going for a triple digit winner or even more.
Exactly, Mark. Exactly.
All right. So what goes into a turbo trade?
Well, what goes into the turbo trade is effectively the downside. Usually, we're using like a downside credit, like a credit spread of some kind, that plays into this directional call. Right? It has a sort of embedded hedge or cushion in it that gives you some room to the downside. We are going to hold this trade. Usually, I find we hold them unless we're immediately proven correct, and we want to take the money. Again, we want to watch that MTI to keep us in there. These tend to last maybe 3, 4, 5 to 6 weeks. And then of course the expiration is the key. The special sauce that goes into this is what expiration, what strikes are we using, when are we going to put this on, and that is how we build this. This is just a smarter way to build these directional calls, and I see that people are really loving them.
And what I love that you said is that timing and expiration are the key here. So using MTI, there's no doubt when you want to get in. And using MTI, you can hold. One of the biggest problems traders have is exiting too early or exiting too late. And with MTI and your turbo trade approach, you know when to get in and you can hold it for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks until MTI tells you to exit. And you do so with triple digit wins more often than not. So let's take a look at an example here. This is Amazon.
Yeah, so here we go. We've got our MTI. We're going from red to yellow to green. We catch what is essentially a 10% stock move. The stock went from about 195 to 215 in only 8 days. So we've got that 2% income portion, right? That's our base hit. We're going to put that base hit to work right now, and we're going to use that to pay for that upside call. And as you can see the result, in fact, I'm disappointed if I ever make less than 100% on these. So this is good. 149% upside in 8 days. I remember actually in the fall, I didn't tell you this, Mark, earlier, but I think I did 4 of these in the fall on Amazon. Amazon was the turbo king. It was a fantastic run.
I mean, so Amazon only rallies 10%. Using turbo trades, you turn that into a 149% win for you. Now, let's take a look at how you've done, not just with your turbo trades, but all of your income trades. And folks, you're going to notice something. Your portfolio, your track record is absolutely stellar. Look at the gains that Hans has here. In RCAD, he just closed this yesterday, 145%. NVIDIA, 14%, 84%. NVIDIA, 255%. With the income portion, 258%. 128% in SPY, 16% in SPY, and that's not even including these great income trades of 23%, 20%, 60%, 69%, more 20%, almost 30%. So, Hans, I'm looking at a track record going back to April that has just been so consistent. But at the time, only about 30% of your trades have been turbo trades. What does your portfolio look like now?
There you go. So we're about 60% in turbo trades. So this is it, right? You want to pivot to where, to use the word again, that edge, you want to pivot to where the advantage is, to where the edge is. And sometimes it's going to be in your traditional income trade. But right now, with this setup, with this explosive potential that we're seeing out there that is coming, not a matter of if, when, we are going to be upping that portion of turbo trades because it is what you do. I like to call it strategic greed, right? We
I
know, I
love
mean,
it.
traders out there, if you remember times where you were greedy and it didn't work out well. It's happened to all of us. There is a time where you need to become strategically greedy, but it's smart greed. It's smart greed. And you can't even call it greed at that point. It is just making a great call. It is using options in the best way possible to take advantage of the situation. So we are going to be increasing this allocation to turbo trades, and that is really, really exciting.
Yeah. So, Hans, it's kind of like you've got an entire tub of ice cream and you have an indicator that tells you exactly when to stop eating ice cream so that you don't get sick. Um, and let's now go back. I want you to point this out, okay? 30% of his trades were turbo trades. Huge wins on those turbo trades. Now it's almost 60% and growing. Now, Hans, we had promised people that they were going to get the 5 stocks that they should own going into this breakout of AI. And again, folks, you buy these stocks, you're probably going to be very, very happy. But you won't be as happy as Hans and myself making triple digit gains because we're going to be using turbo trades. So let's talk about these stocks.
Okay. All right. I'm excited about this. So, this is going to be an amazing environment. But I think if you sort of think about how this is going to work out, how this is going to unfold, it's going to come with a lot of disruption. It's not going to happen without a few people getting hurt. So, you really want to focus on the areas that are almost these kind of must have elements of the builders of this new world, the people that the companies that store the data, that help you make sense of the data, that make data creation even possible to begin with. And then, of course, we're going to address another big problem. So, number one is AVGO. So Broadcom, AI needs more GPUs. You think it's over for GPUs? It is not. The training phase continues and the inference phase is exploding. And if NVIDIA is the organs of AI AVGO is the spine and the nerves of those data centers and a number of other things. So this is that silent giant that is powering the economy. Simply put, no AVGO, no data centers, no AI expansion. Boom. Number two, Net, Cloudflare. This is like the traffic control center for the internet. People don't think of this thing. We all take it for granted that everything runs beautifully. We look something up, we go to a site. Remember when sites used to take forever to load up? Now, part of your broadband was part of it, but part of it is that this company makes sure everything is cached everywhere. It's sitting nice and local. Even if you're on a website absolutely across the world in Siberia, boom, there's your information. And they do other things, security. They're like a guard, like a security guard as well. Wonderful company, incredibly important. Number three, CCJ. So this is one of the most important companies to that nuclear backbone. We are not going to have enough energy. It is absolutely a certainty that we are not going to have enough energy to fulfill what the world is embarking on right now. So this is important. When you put something in Chat GPT, the gears start turning in a way that doesn't happen with training. 25 times more. That means 10, 100 times more energy being used. We need more energy. Absolutely critical. Number four, NBIS. So you may not have heard of this one. This is kind of the baby sister to CoreWeave, which I'm sure some of you have heard of. It runs smart GPU based centers, lots of NVIDIA GPUs. This is the smart part of data centers. The regular ones that are out there, the Equinixes, that's kind of the bloated, dumb storage. We're going to still need lots of that. This is going to be crucial for this expansion of AI inference. And finally, one of my favorite stocks, Palantir. I'm sure you guys have heard of Palantir, but listen, that does not diminish its importance. So AI for inference and for insight and for usefulness is fantastic. Sounds great, right? Until a company goes, well, what the heck am I going to do here? I don't know where to start. Palantir is the one you call. They're like that guy in Pulp Fiction. Call that guy. He's going to fix the problem. Palantir comes in. They put this helmet on your company. They start to figure things out, how you're going to save money, make sense of all the data you have. An incredibly important company going forward. It is, you cannot underestimate how important they're going to do. Their phone is going to be ringing off the hook for years and years and years. So one of my favorite names.
So there you have it. Hans has now just given you 5 stocks that he, and I agree with him, believe are going to explode over the next few years. And folks, once again, you go out and buy these stocks, go ahead. I'll be happy for you with the gains. So will Hans. We want everybody to do well. But 15, 20%, that is not the answer to this AI breakout. The answer to this AI breakout is turbo trades through turbo income. So let's talk about what Hans is going to give you. To start, you're going to get turbo trades. These are trade alerts updating you if your trades have significant upside momentum and are likely to make big runs. They're how you take advantage of this generational opportunity. Instead of going for 20 to 30%, Hans is going for 200, 300, 500%. These trades will be sent to your phone and to your email. These are Hans's most profitable trades, and we're entering a period where this type of trade is going to clean up. And Turbo Income is CRT certified. It's consistently profitable. Since launch, Turbo Income has a 92% win rate with an average win of 13%. The average loss with the ripcord, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, is 12%. Now, when we say average loss, what we mean is one loss. His turbo trade win rate is currently 100% with an average return per turbo trade at 92%. This is repeatable. You get one income trade a week and turbo trades as MTI goes green. And remember, he's doubling the number of turbo trades that he's done in the past. And then it is teachable. Hans is going to teach you to read and use MTI to spot changes in momentum. He's going to teach you how to make your own turbo trades, and it comes with this 7-class income course to guide you and get you started right off the bat. But, we talked about turbo trades a lot. It also includes Hans's turbo income trades. These are weekly income trades with a 92% win rate and an average return of 13%. That is incredible for an income trading portfolio. You get access to the portfolio of all income trades and turbo trades. You're getting weekly live trading sessions with Hans. Every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Hans is going to spend an hour with his methodology, what trade he's doing, and why, both on the income side and the turbo trade side. If you have if you have questions, maybe you're new, Hans is going to be there. Is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there are a bunch of amazing traders in that room that will answer your questions if Hans doesn't see it first. And it's a wonderful place to just chat about trading, share trade ideas, and most importantly, share your wins. Off your feet. One of the videos is about key income indicators, implied volatility rank and percentile. He's going to teach you about volatility risk premium, the 3 different ways to scan for quality stocks. He's going to teach you heard him say the word edge a couple times. He's going to teach you how to put the odds on your side. He's going to teach you how to gain edge. And he's got a video on alternative income strategies as well. Now, this is for annual members only, and this is super exciting. If you buy the annual membership, Hans is going to give you the market temperature indicator. He's going to give it to you so you can add it to your own charts. MTI, you can view on TradingView or on Thinkorswim. So, you want to know what the MTI is on JP Morgan? Guess what? You don't have to wait till Monday. You can pull it up on your chart and see where MTI is on JP Morgan. You can see where MTI is on Goldman Sachs. You'll have unlimited access to see if your stocks have accumulated long-term momentum for a sustained move higher. Now, I mentioned the ripcord strategy. Hans, when he joined us, we were really excited. Why? We've been talking to other income traders for years, and no one ever was able to fit the bill. Why? Because a lot of income strategies have catastrophic losses. What Hans has developed with his ripcord strategy is a safety net. It's easy to execute. The ripcord follows a single number, and if that number goes over 60 2 days in a row, he exits the trade. It turned during his beta testing period what would have been a 78% loss into a 17% loss. The ripcord limits our loss. And you can use it anywhere, not just on income, but on just about all of your trades. The ripcord corrects the number one piece other income strategies have. I've never seen an income trader like Hans that has this ability to get out of the way. That was why I was so excited to bring him to you here at Option Pit. And take a look at what some of his customers are saying, his traders. Gots to go. Hey, close my NVIDIA 180 call at 750, a nice 88% win. Snapper Baker, I had 4 July contracts in SoFi that I closed. I closed 3 and rolled the last one to August. I'm up about 400% on the July trade. Closed mine at 47.05. I bought another 160 call that I closed for a $550 profit on Wednesday as well. And now this, and I think, Hans, this is the one I think is both of our favorites. Thank you for sharing about iBet. was looking at my turbo income realized profit and loss. It's already paid for the annual subscription and beyond, with mainly doing the smallest size. And then Luigi responded, Nina, same here. I already paid for my 3-year sub. So, what I'd like you to do is click the link in chat, or you can click the link that's pinned at the top or up here above us. And I'd like you to join. You join the 1-year membership, and it's 40% off, and you get access to MTI. And reminder, you're getting those weekly live sessions. You're getting the turbo trades, the income trades, that ripcord strategy to limit the losses. You're getting the income video library, and you're getting access to add the market temperature indicator if you are an annual member. You're getting a free special report on historical volatility versus implied volatility, and his free guide to on IV rank and IV percentile. For $17.99, that is an absolute steal. MTI on its own is worth the regular retail price of $3,000, probably more. But you're getting all of this for 40% off of the list price, just $17.99. Now, you might say to yourself, I like Hans, but I'm not quite ready to go to prom with him. Maybe I'll just let him take me out to dinner. Well, you can join for the quarter for $549 that renews automatically. You can always cancel at any time, or you can even try the 1 month at $199. But you will not be getting the MTI. And folks, once you join Hans, you're never going to want to leave. So you buy the monthly, you're going to be really happy, but you're not going to have MTI. You buy the quarterly, same story. You're going to be happy, but you're going to renew. You're going to never want to leave, but you're not going to have the MTI because you didn't buy the annual. So once again, click that link in chat. You can click the link that's pinned. You can click the link that's above us in the video. Now, you're saying, Mark, I'm already a client. I'm already a trader with Option Pit in XYZ service. Or I have questions. Or, I want to know this or that about the service. We have an amazing team of customer care specialists led by our own Ted Trapisano, Drew, his whole team. Give them a call, 888-872-3301, and they will answer every question. Once again, folks, this is a generational opportunity, something that I've never seen in my 25 years of trading, and a trading opportunity that only comes up about once every 10 years, once a decade. Get that MTI, get that into your trading, and jump on board with these turbo trades, because you buy those 5 stocks, you make your 10, 15%, great. I want you, and I know Hans wants you to make 200-300%. Now, I know we've got some questions here. So let's go through a couple of them. Let's start with Enzo. He says, I applied Hans's turbo trade strategy to RCAD, and it's currently up 549.1% and still open. Here's a question from Jeffrey Smith. Hans, how much capital is required to trade your strategies?
Well, it depends on the stock, but it can be as little as 1,500, 1,600 for a turbo. Depends on what it is. Can be a little bit higher than that at times. The income trades can be even quite a bit lower than that.
So it's not overly capital intensive. And folks that are worried about things like pattern day trading rules, those do not apply. Remember, this is an income strategy, so they generally last, 8 to 15 days, and his turbo trades typically last 4 to 6 weeks. So you're never going to run into pattern day trading issues. And again, it's not super capital intensive. We design our strategies so that just about anybody can trade them, and this is in that bucket.
A lot of them, Mark, are $800, $750, $850, usually $800, $850. So for the income trades.
Yeah, so you just answered Bob in Kentucky's question. What's the average dollar size of the trades? You heard of me, $700, $800, so less than $1,000 a trade. Um, Ask Arnett is asking, how much money do you need to get started? That's a tough question. Um, but probably I would say a minimum 5,000 is a really good place to start. And if you have more, all that you're going to be able to do is take greater advantage of those turbo trades, and you're going to be able to use MTI. Now, one of the things is if you're trading stocks, you're trading options on your own, applying MTI to get to put your entries, your exits in, and to keep you in those trades is going to change the way you make money permanently. So once again, I want to invite you to click the link above us, click the link in chat. And again, if you're an existing trader or you have questions about this service, give us a call, 888-872-3301, and my team will take care of you. Now, if they're all tied up, leave a message. They will call you back. Here's a good question. Hans, how many trades will you have on at one time? And how many turbo trades? Basically, how much capital do I need to run this? And Bob from Kentucky is asking the same question. How many open trades are you going to have at any given time?
I think we might have 6, 7 trades at any given time. You don't have to do all those trades, right? We have members pick and choose. Some people do all of them.
Well,
But I
I
do
would
love
say
to
based
trade.
on your track record, you should do all of them.
I
You're
love
like
I
leaving
love
money.
to
If you're
trade.
like, I don't feel like doing that trade, over a 90% odds, you're leaving money on the table. So I highly, highly encourage our traders in every service to trade every single trade we put out. Why? Because the one you skip is the one that returns 145% or 258% like Nvidia. But Bob in Kentucky, yeah, how many are open at a given time? 6 to 7. The turbo trades are not capital intensive. The income trades a little bit more capital intensive. Do we have other questions? Will says, I agree. I try not to pick and choose when trying to match a portfolio success rate. Human says, I usually put all the trades on. Uh, Enzo says, hate it when the limit open order doesn't execute and I miss the trade. Ugh.
Some beautiful, wonderful compliments in here, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for a
Absolutely.
superb product, superb instructor. Well, look, I pride myself on that. As Mark said, you get me every Monday, and I'm in the chat room, and I even do sudden uh, live sessions. I'll just say, listen, guys, we got to talk about something right in about half an hour. I hope you're available, and you can watch that later as well. So when I've got something on my mind that I think is important, I'm going to have to tell you. So you just get phenomenal service from everybody at Option Pit, and I love to teach, and I think that I'm fairly good at it from the looks of these comments here. And I get excited for people who are even just starting out. How do I do this? What are the basics? Boom, welcome. We're going to show you exactly how this works.
Yeah, he's going to hold your hand through this process. Chai is asking, are the income trades selling options? Yes, they are selling options, but they are protected. They're hedged. There's no naked selling of options, and you have the rip cord strategy to protect you. EJ says Hans is a great teacher. I would argue a spectacular teacher. Money Steve says, do your income trades have margin requirements? When you sell a spread, there is, or you buy an option, there's always some margin used up. But do you need portfolio margin in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not.
We're always
Cold
doing
Prep
spread.
says,
Yeah.
Mark, thank you for generosity to your pro members. Hey, if you're pro members, we take care of you guys. Option Pit Professional, we take extra good care of you guys. So yes, this is included with pro. Enzo says, Hans, you're great at teaching. You have high level expertise and you're easy to listen to. And Hans, I would argue you're not so bad on the eyes either.
You're so sweet, Mark. Thank you. And
Once again, folks, I want to run through what you're getting. You're getting the turbo trades. You're getting the weekly live sessions. You're getting the weekly income trades. You've got that ripcord strategy to protect you. You've got the income video library. You've got the special report on historical and implied. You've got the guide to Ivy Ranker and Ivy Percentile. And again, this is the big one. You're getting the annual membership 40% off, and you're getting the MTI indicator for yourself to use. So that is just an incredible value, an incredible deal. And I want you guys to join. So click the link that is pinned to the top. And again, if you have questions, pick up the phone and call my team 888 872 3301. And they will take extra good care of you. What is the Bob wants to know? Here's a good one. What is the best way to spend my weekend ramping up? I'm a new member of Turbo Trades, of Turbo Income. Hans, what do I start with in the video library?
There is just some unbelievable stuff to check out. Someone mentioned the Edge series. It's so good. I almost need to take it out, but I won't. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. Somebody said it was one of the best things they've ever seen. And Human is revealing my secrets. The cash machine trade is my favorite. We won't even talk about that today, but you always get bonuses with Hans.
Absolutely. And
Um,
what I would say is for his income video library, getting started with income, those key income indicators, implied volatility versus percentile, and learning about risk premium. And this is the big one. All right. After you read through those and you feel pretty comfortable, how to put the odds on your side. That is a great, great group of videos that'll get you started.
Yeah. Ivy rank, Ivy percentile. There is just a smorgasbord of wonderful things to learn that are going to give you confidence in what you're doing, right? One of the things that I've been mentoring for decades, and one thing that people often tell me is, you give me confidence. As soon as I start understanding things better, I can dip my toe in. I can start to take that first important step in doing something that I've always been curious about. That is the value of having a group like Option Pit and coaches like myself and Mark. We will give you confidence, and that is absolutely massive.
Absolutely. And Hans, you give me confidence. And folks, if you think this MTI is just something Hans uses, this is something our whole team looks at and talks about. Um, it has really been a nice little additive to my own trading, and will continue to be. One of the things I love about Option Pit is that we're all traders and we're all friends and we all share ideas and we all try to help each other. Bringing Hans on has been so additive to our company and to our traders, and I mean you guys. And Hans, that MTI again, just absolutely spectacular. And again, I can't believe we're giving it to people that buy the 1 year for 40% off, because that MTI is worth more than just the membership. It's literally worth more than the membership. So once again, I want you to click the link in chat, give my team a call, 888 872 3301.
Is it Christmas in July, Mark? It sounds like it. If you're giving that MTI
Well,
away,
and
that is,
you must be Santa,
it must be.
given the gift that you're giving all of our traders. Once again, click the link and join us. Hans, I want to say thank you for spending the time to explain to everybody what your breakout ratio is, what the MTI is, what this opportunity is, and giving away those 5 stocks. That was just an incredible gift, and I want to say thank you on behalf of all the hundreds of people that are in this room listening to you.
Thank you, Mark.
Um,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
so, folks, I'm for Hans, who is our head of income trading and the master of the turbo trade. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. We hope you have an absolutely wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, folks.
Have a good one.